What's up, guys? Today I'm back with another review. This time we're switching things up. Normally I do food reviews, but this time I've been wanting to get into books, TV shows, and other stuff, movies. So there's multiple things I've been thinking about reviewing. This guy on TikTok asked me to review the Berserk manga, but that's not what we're doing today. I'll get around to that because there's these big like mangas that they have of them. These like deluxe edition thingies. That's like $30 a volume. I'll have to get around to stuff like that. You know. But Bleach. I've been thinking of watching it here and there for a little while. A few days ago, or like a week or so ago, me and a friend were playing one of the Bleach games that he had, and it made me want to watch the show. And I'm like, well, then a little bit later, I've been thinking, hey, how about I review an anime? I haven't reviewed a show before, and now I'm like, well, Bleach is a good one to start with. That's what my thought. So I've just gotten through the first arc because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna review it all. If it's like an anime or TV show, I'm gonna review it by arc and season. Um, so this one is the um, the Soul Reaper arc, which that's the first title I've seen this arc have. I've seen other like titles for it, different names for the arc. I've just gone with this one because it's the simplest for me to say, and yeah. There's a lot of names and words in this show that's kind of difficult for me, but I've been getting better with some of them. I hope I'll say these names and words right. Um, if I don't, feel free to correct me. Um, make fun of me in the comments, whatever. Um, so I how I'm gonna do this is I'm not gonna go episode by episode and break them down. I'm gonna do a summary of the arc, a small little summary, some big moments. I think I'm not gonna do every single tiny detail. Um, I'm just gonna do like the moments, major moments that I saw, and some of the lore that this arc gives. So with all this, I'll split this into 3 sections: the summary, the review, which is basically what I like, what I don't like. It's not gonna be that big. And a very special segment that may or may not may some people might like, some people might find dumb and a little annoying. It's only kind of be like a gag thing I'm gonna do for each um, review for every show and arc I do. Um, so with that being said, let's get going. The anime follows a guy named Ichigo. He is a high school student who lives with his father and 2 sisters that I've forgotten the names of. Um, great, great show. Really shows what's how how great my mind is. I'm not that great with names, with remembering names and stuff. I can remember like some big details, but names kind of trip me up. Um, so they have a family dynamic. They constantly jump each other as a running gag. It's some of it's funny. Like the first time you see each go through his lit like his the door of his house, he gets drop kicked by his dad. Hilarious stuff. Um, sometimes like he was going down the stairs, sees his dad, drops kicks him. hilarious stuff, I must say. Ha ha ha. Well, he encounters a Soul Reaper named Rukia. Yeah, that name Rukia. Um, she tells him about um, Soul Reapers and stuff like that because Ichigo he can see spirits. Him and his whole family have developed the ability to see spirits. You know, I yeah, it's pretty interesting. So eventually, she tells him of the Soul Society, hollows and holes, and she doesn't really believe that because that sounds dumb. And she's like, "You can believe spirits, but you can't. You've seen spirits, but you don't believe this. Kind of dumb. Kind of dummy of him. Um, then, um, so what the Soul Society is the place that all souls go when they die, and the home of the Soul Reapers. Soul Reapers take souls that's in the human world. They're also called Shinigamis. I think that's the correct way to say it. Yeah, I think that's the direct translation of what they are, but or the Japanese word for what they are. Um, they're the Soul Reapers. Take holes, which the holes are the good souls, good spirits, and the hollows are bad spirits. They're violent. They are spirits of people who still have or of spirits that still have some form of attachment to the world and some kind of grievance, some time of regret, something like that. And it's the job of a soul reaper to bring a soul to this spirit society. Either the hollows, they um, they had to purify them to send them to the um, soul society, and there's kind of like there is an underworld where evil people go, like the soul society, so they can a hollow can be cured of the stuff they do as a hollow, but they cannot be purified of the stuff they did as a human. So if you go out and kill someone, they can't you're if you're a serial killer, they can't help you with that. They're not going to be able to wipe that away. You're still going to the underworld. What's the underworld? Basically hell for this. Um, there's a in between spot that hollows go to hide from soul reapers. Uh, just wanted to kind of throw that one out there. Um, so how Ichigo he becomes a soul reaper? He's like a substitute soul reaper for Rukia at the beginning of the show, or in this arc. He It's done by his family is attacked by a hollow, and um Rukia, yeah. Um, it gives him the power to defeat that uh the hollow. Um, but that drains her of her energy, so he has to be the substitute soul reaper. He has to use the power that was given to her by Rukia, and and she has to use this like artificial body called it Kigai, I think that's how you say it. Probably butchered that, but it allows her to linger and stay on the human world. And she goes into his high school. She poses as a high school student for the time being. In high school, he has a few friends. These two guys, I forgot their name. Don't really care for them too much. Um, he's got another friend named Chad. He's pretty cool. He had this little bird thing for a little bit that was possessed by a soul of a child. He got a pretty cool arm. It's really cool. He's really cool. There's um, Orihime. I think that's how you say Orihime. I think that's how you say her name. She's orange hair. or long orange hair. She has this friend. I forgot her name for some reason because I really can't remember these. Um, Orihime, she also gets powers later that me and my friend kind of dog on a little. Um, so some of the main battles in this arc is um Ichigo. He fights the Orihime's dead brother. He became a hollow because for a few years, for years, his sister Orihime was praying to him, for him, not to him, for him, and that kept his soul at rest for a while, his spirit, while he was in the human world. Well, she stopped praying for him because she got friends, he got a life, and he got lonely and sad, you know, pretty pretty sad. And he started getting a little bitter about it. Then a bunch of hollows jumped him, turned him into one, and it amplified all of that. And Ichigo defeats him. He his human side's still in there, and it's able to overcome the hollow part for a little bit, and then he kind of takes himself out to before he the hollow part of him can retake control, allowing him to go to the Soul Society. Pretty neat. Um, so another big one was with this strong hollow that killed his mom because Ichigo's mom died when he was young, and he blames himself. Um, he's able to resolve all that like past trauma. He defeats the hollow, which the hollow is crazy. The hollow he uses this how do you say it, a kind of like a rope, or this like fishing rod, and on top of that rod at the end of it, it's like your family, your someone he knows you wouldn't strike against, so he kind of uses that as shield so you don't hit him. Pretty pretty messed up of a power. And eventually he's able to overcome the hollow. There's another guy called Oryu, which Oryu, he's a he is he challenges Ichigo to a competition. Who can kill the most hollows wins. He's a Quincy. A Quincy does not like Soul Reapers. The Quincy's don't. They were believed to be wiped out, until he comes along. Um, he the Quincy's believe Hollows should just be killed, destroyed. They should not have a chance to go to the Soul Society, while Soul Reapers believe they should be allowed to. They should be purified. Um, because Quincy's have this like bitterness to them Hollows because they've killed friends, family. Why should they be allowed to go to the Soul Society? Which I kind of get. Um, he originally Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. Yeah, I think that's how you. He was actually on the side of leaning more towards the Soul Society for the longest time until his master was killed, pushing him towards the side of the Quincy's. So what he does in the competition, just kickstarted it with Ichigo, is he has this hollow bait and he kind of sends it out, and it brings a lot of hollows, and it's kind of stupid because he brings in so many that he's unable to really. It gets out of control, and it brings a giant hollow that Ichigo almost dies just defeating. Not really defeating. He doesn't even kill the thing. He forces it to retreat. So yeah, kind of a dumb move. Or you, yeah, or you, kind of done. that was kind of a dumb move of it. There's a few other smaller things before I get to the talk about the end of the season. Somewhere in between all this, Kia, she goes to this one shop owned by a guy named Kisuke. Yeah, this should be his name. He has a pretty cool hat and outfit. I like Kisuke. Um, that red haired kid that works at that shop. I don't like him though. He's kind of rude. He's kind of too mean to his sister for me to really like him. But she gets these substitute pills, like substitute soul pills. They're like mod souls. Mod souls were created by the Soul Society to kind of swap out. It was kind of to make like an army of human, like they would put a soul. It would be a substitute soul into a human body so they could fight for the human, something like that. Something like, but a soul, it would once taken, it takes your soul out of your body, so another soul can do take could will occupy your soul for the time being. For like a soul reaper, they have they leave their like actual like human physical body to become a soul reaper. So that allows something else to hold on to your body for a while. Um, because previously Rukia, she had this glove that she would press against Ichigo, and that would or like push against his chest or whatever, and that would release his soul. But the thing is, his body would just be on the ground; no one would occupy it, and also she wasn't always going to be there. So she needed a way for Ichigo to become a Soul Reaper without the need of her being there. So that pill allows someone else to harvest his body for or hold on to his body for a while. But the pills weren't very good, and it allowed not very the greatest person into his body because immediately he kicked down a railing at the school and hit on the girls in Ichigo's class, which um, and Rukia, she had to like kind of replace all the people's memories because she can do that. Yeah, she had to, and it was kind of a mess. Um, but eventually, he kind of became allies with that substitute soul after not giving the mod soul to Kisuke because if he did, it would have been destroyed. Because that the Soul Society they went against, they kind of were like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be making mod souls and modified souls and stuff like that, and they wanted to destroy them all. And um, the substitute soul, his name is later given. Isugo gives him the name of Khan. Well, Khan, he doesn't want to be destroyed, you know. He thinks he should be able to live. Um, so they eventually put him in the body of a stuffed doll, which they have where Ichigo time for time takes the pill out and allows him to be in his body for a little bit because he knows he won't run off with it. He'll there so he can do his Soul Reaper stuff. Pretty neato, if you ask me. Um, Yusuke, with what I'm saying about him, he's pretty cool. I like him. But the other like near the end of the season or the arc, um, Rukia, she's getting hunted down by the Soul Society because giving your Soul Reaper power to a human is a big no-no with the Soul Reapers. So she committed a crime. a very bad crime for them. So they're hunting her down. Her brother, where I'm not going to miss his name because I've tried it multiple times and I've kind of butchered it, and this guy named Renji. They both arrest her, but um Oryu tries to stop them, but he gets the crap beat out of them. Ichigo then comes to help and gets absolutely laid out. They almost kill the man. Um, they mock him for not being able to say his no, the name of his sword, which is a thing that they do multiple times throughout the season, the arc. Multiple people's like, "You're not a Soul Reaper. You don't even know the name of your own sword, idiot." Um, their swords are a type of sword that's used against spirits. It's they're they're called Zenpakutos, but his sword, his Zenpakuto, is named um um Zengetsu. He doesn't know that name for a while, and they beat the crap out of him. Like they lay him out um until Kisuke comes and saves his life. Like once he finds him on the ground, almost bleeding out because after they beat him up, they take Rukia with them, and she's like, "Hey, don't follow me. Don't try and get me. If you do, I'll never ever forgive you." Stuff like that. Um, um, and then yeah, Kisuke comes and gets them and patches them up. Um, that episode was also pretty strange because the title, I love these great anime names, anime um name like show titles where they're like they just reveal what the title, the episode, what happens in the episode. Episode 17, Ichigo dies. He didn't die, but holy crap, what a name to the episode. It's like in that Dragon Ball Super episode that's titled The Earth Explodes. What are you talking about? Um, so uh, you get a little bit of the Soul Society, how it looks when they go and um, escort Rukia to um, the place and her cell. Um, eventually, Kisuke's like to Ichigo, "I'm gonna train you to go and get Rukia back because they're still on that. They're even though she's like, don't do this, they're going to." So him, um, um, Orihime, Chad, and um, Oryu all train, but they train in like separate locations. Chad and Orihime, they train like together and stuff. With this one cat, I forgot her name. Forgot her name. Um, I've seen the name. I just don't know how to say it, and I don't want to try to and mess up horribly. Um, eventually, Ichigo is being trained, and he's put in this hole. Um, since Rukia is gone and stuff, he has lost all his Soul Reaper power. So once he takes him out of that, turns him into a spirit, right? He takes the spirit out of his body. Once Kisuke does that, because he has like a cane that can just do it. He like pokes you on the head and the soul comes out. Pretty cool. That cane's pretty cool. He has a Zenpakuto in the cane. Really cool, I will say. I love that weapon. I love that cane. Um, so there's this chain attached to Ichigo's heart or chest. Once the chain is gone, you become a hollow. Well, he dumps him in a throws him in a pit and like you have 72 hours before the chain eats is gone. Once you do, become a hollow, and I'm gonna have to kill you. Well, after 72 hours go by, the chain is gone. It looks like Ichigo's about to become a hollow. But he doesn't. He powers up and he becomes a actual um Soul Reaper. That's pretty cool. He becomes a Soul Reaper. He uses some of the power, but the thing is, he comes out with a hollow mask and the outfit of a and the robes of a Soul Reaper. So what I get from that is he can use the power of both. Pretty cool. And that's what. So it ends off with Kisuke making a cool little portal for them to go to the Soul Society. Hint where Ichigo, Chad, Orihime, the cat, and um, Ori, um, Oryu, because Oryu has joined them for some reason. For because originally he didn't like Ichigo and he wanted to keep him alive. He wanted him to stay alive so he could beat the crap out of him eventually. But they're all allies right now trying to get Rukia. Um, Overall, really good season, I have to say. Um, it's pretty good. I like it. Pretty good arc. Um, so yeah, let's go to the review. Yeah, it's really good. This is um, I like the characters it introduced. I like that it doesn't introduce too much at the start. It lets you the first episode it lets you digest everything. It doesn't force too many crazy concepts on you. The Zimbot does, and everything is kind of sprinkled in the more it goes, and I really like that. Um, I'm not the biggest brain person, so I like things being given to me at slower amounts. I don't like too much information at one time. I don't know. I'm not very good at balancing all that. Um, yeah. There's so some of the things more things I like. I like Ichigo. I think he's a pretty cool character. Like he's interesting. He um sympathize. I can sympathize with him. He lost a parent. He lost his mother. I didn't lose my mother. I lost my father, but I didn't. But I can still sympathize losing a parent. Um, it makes him kind of relatable. I don't hold myself to blame for it. He did. Um, I think his father, his father can go into like and dislike at the same time. Sometimes he gets a little on my nerves. Sometimes I think he's kind of funny.
I'm home. You let your guard down. Always stay alert when you enter a room and you're late for dinner again.
Come on! Is that any way to welcome your own son after he just risked his life to help a spirit find peace?
Silence! Oh, so it's the ghost's fault now, is it? I suppose it was ghosts that left your room a mess. When are you gonna show some discipline? Just because you see...
Um, I like Chad. Chad's arm is cool. His little arm is really cool. Um, Orihime, her power is a little overcomplicated. They overcomplicate it. My friend, he was explaining it to me, he says that they're basically like little fairies that can create little. Um, I know they're technically not fairies. Don't go at me at this. Um, they make portals or like shields, and they can make them around your injuries. Um, and it reversed time on the energy injury, which sounds cool and all, but that's a little overcomplicated. Just say it in. It kind of adds to you. It kind of sounds a little too hard, trying too hard to be sophisticated. Just say it hurt. It regenerates. It heals you. It's not that hard to say it. Um, right. It's like you have like a magical sword. This this sword, it doesn't just stab you. When it connects against you, it the force around it magically opens up the wounds around the skin around to create the wound. Just say it stabs you. That's just a dumber example. Like that doesn't happen. That no one does that in the show. The short example is just a dumb thing I came up on my mind. Um, so overall, also that doesn't mean I um dislike um um that doesn't mean I dislike her or Yume. This doesn't mean I dislike or Yume. I I still think she's an alright character. It's just that's just my little thing on her. You know, I like some of her. Um, I think some of her and her friends that are hanging around each other. Some of them are funny.
My Leaf's bananas, butter, and bean jam seem to have made it too.
Ugh, I don't want to know what she's gonna make with that.
Some of her moments that I think she can be a little funny at times. Some of her moments and stuff like that. I just think the power is a little strange. Um, just because I criticize something doesn't mean I dislike it necessarily. Um, I I can criticize things and still like them. So, um, overall, it's a pretty solid arc. I think, uh, this could be one of my like favorite animes I've watched. I actually have a notes app on my phone, the notes app, and it shows I kind of like list my animes, like all the animes I've watched, top to bottom, like that favorite to least, my least of most favorite. Um, and it'll be up there. This might be a top five anime for me. Um, so with this being said, this goes to the third segment. Hold on to your britches because it's time for the Can he beat Goku though? Can he? Can they beat Goku? So this segment might make some people laugh, annoy others, infuriate others, because there's a thing on the internet, but can he beat Goku whenever a strong character comes around? I love Goku. He's my goat. Sometimes it does annoy me too. I like to glaze Goku, maybe wink him a little. Not wink as in um state overstate his strength sometimes. But I'll say this in all fairness, all no bias aside, current Goku annihilates season one Ichigo, arc one Ichigo. Goku can in Super shakes the universe with his punches colliding with Beerus. Just the punches alone shake the universe, and he could have destroyed it. That's a lot of strength that puts him into Universal. Ichigo got manhandled by two different um, Soul Reapers and had to go all out to force another Hollow to withdraw a large one to draw back. With I think season one Ichigo is strong for his verse. He's all right for his verse, but outside of that, hmm. Now, um, soon, I think current Ichigo, once I get to that, might be a better fit against current Goku. But season one Ichigo, unrealistic. So that's it. That's the review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, stay stay a little bit longer. I have some things. Um, first, the continuation of what but they beat Goku segments. Yes, I will be doing it for every anime review, regardless of the genre. My dress up darling, main character getting annihilated. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's a comedy, slice of life. Well, sometimes they kind of go hand in hand. Romance, rom-com. They're all action. They're all getting compared to Goku. That's the true Dragon Ball Glazer I am. And so I want to talk about some of the filler arcs. My friend told me that the Bount, I think that's the name, arc, the filler arc, where it kind of have like these vampires in Bleach, told me that it sucks. It made him stop watching for a little bit. He just skipped it outright. Because the filler arcs don't matter to the story. They don't contribute to anything. They'll never talk about it again. Um, is a filler thing in anime only really comes around when they say the manga is doing something. Is so that see this as kind of like this is the manga where the manga is, this is where the anime is. Sometimes the anime will catch up to they're adapting the manga chapters and eventually they catch up to the manga. Well, sometimes the manga is on break and they aren't giving more chapters out. Or they've already caught up and they have to keep on making more episodes. So they'll make a filler arc so the manga can eventually start making more and more chapters. You get with me? Get with what I'm saying? Sometimes Dragon Ball does it. You know, they've had a filler episode here and there. Um, but I kind of want to watch it. I kind of also don't because one reason is I want to review everything for you guys. Another part of it is it might just suck. It might take longer to go through this reviews and stuff. And it's great because it's a few arcs away. Because with what I've seen the Soul Society arc, which is the arc we're going to, is split into two arcs. The one where they're kind of trying to find Ryuka, Rukia, Rukia, yeah, that's her name. Um, and the part where they actually try to escape with her. Well, after that is the filler arc I'm talking about. I will make a poll on my channel, and that poll will ask the question, do you guys want me to watch it? So I can then make a video on it and review it. Well, you can say whether or not you would like to see the filler arcs, and I'll do it. If you vote no, I probably won't. I might still do it, but there's a higher chance to play. No kind of just means I don't care at this point. And like, I might put a I don't care option. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the review. The next one I will hope is a little better. I might have the names down better. So, see ya.